So this is one thing that I actually forgot to mention earlier, right? I had shared the field report about the weekend at Flash, particularly highlighting a couple of conversations I had with people on Sunday, and the ending to one of those conversations was, talking with a woman, nice friendly conversation, and after a while she uh I noticed in the beginning she was there with her friends, right? And her and her friends were walking by. I said something about her shoes, and then we struck up a conversation from there. So within short order, the friends kind of she was, I think, also like, they were kind of like walking through a line because it was crowded, and so you can't walk like side by side through the crowd. It was kind of like one in front of the other. She happened to be the last one, kind of in that little line, right? And then within that happening, I strike up the conversation with her as she's walking by. She stops. We continue chatting. The friends kept going though and kind of didn't notice that she wasn't there initially. When they did notice, they saw her in conversation, and so saw her in conversation and kind of motioned for her to come over where they were and join them. Like, hey, we found a spot amongst the, very crowded room where we'll have a bit of space here. Come on and join us. Um, I'm laughing because I have someone I know who calls it like the I won't even say because it may sound a little bit offensive, and I don't want to offend people in this way, but I'll just say many people, when they're out with their friends and these sorts of environments, will kind of stand in like a bit of a circle, right? So they're talking to the other people that they came with, their kind of friends, and then it's would be difficult for a stranger to come in and interrupt without uh, leaning over someone's shoulder or somehow kind of like physically, protruding into the space, right? So they're doing that sort of thing, amongst their friend group, the three other women, and then they, motion for the fourth woman who I'm talking to come join them. And she kind of motions back like, "Hey, I'm fine over here." um, we have a conversation. There are some like lulls in the conversation, but that's fine because in my mind, it was like I was there dancing before she came up, and we're starting to talk and all, but I'm also still here for the dancing. Like, conversation is cool and all, but it wasn't to the point of like, oh, let me stop what I'm doing, just to engage in this conversation and ignore everything else around me. Um, but all getting back to the story. Eventually, she does go back over to the friends to talk with them for a little bit, right? Check in, and so that's another like kind of bit of a natural break in our interactions. Um, then she kind of comes back to where I am a little bit. Um, the friends weren't far away. They like kind of split the difference between where they were initially and then where she and I was. So they're only, you know, really like arm's length distance away. Um, there is maybe, another person in between her and the friends. So it wasn't quite like the friends were right where she and I was, but fairly close by. They, interact, start chatting. I think they're like sharing a drink amongst themselves, as well. So these things happen. Then also, another person, a gentleman that she knows, comes up and begins talking to her. And that was fine. And all that was good. But what had also kind of happened in that time was like, again, it was a crowded place, and um, there were, I think, me being just like a taller person, and just the place I was standing at was like a little bit close to like what was like a natural walkway. So I'd gotten kind of like, you know, bumped by the passerbys several times. Um, and I was standing a little further back. She was like front and to the right of me, kind of like, and so she wasn't as much in the walkway. So, you know, between the breaks in conversation and the bumps from other people, I am like, okay, I'm not going to stick around for this. I shift and like move several feet away. Um, Fast forward to a little bit later in the night. I end up going over, I am, doing my thing, dancing, and then go decide to get some water. And the water's like a different part of the venue. Go over to the other part of the venue, get some water, go back to dancing again at a different spot than I'd been earlier in the night. And as I go back to dancing, I see her walk out without the friends, and it's like, like walk out. It was like a stomp out, and like what looked to be like frustration and anger. And no guarantee around this, but my sense was a bit of the frustration was like, what the heck? I was talking to you, and we had a good conversation, and then it dropped off, and didn't go anywhere. We didn't exchange number. It wasn't a follow up, and so I'm upset. And I'm going to show that by like walking directly in front of you, and kind of stomping, and not talking to you on the way out. um, and like I'm laughing, and it's I've been there, so like I get it. Um, I get it. Me laughing is not like to demean her or her feelings. But what I also do want to highlight is that when, as I've like gone out and gotten better at meeting people, developed better communication skills, developed better skill with reading others and their emotions. Um, Having meeting strangers and having positive interactions with them to the point where they get a sense of me and get to the point where they start to enjoy the conversation and would like it to continue. Like that has become more and more common. And as it becomes more and more common, when I do meet someone and have a good conversation with them, what has also become more of the case is I can see that they're enjoying things, and I'm like, wow, this is really going well. I hope it continues. It was nice meeting this person. I'd like to continue getting to know them. And in my mind, sometimes it's a bit like, okay, this is nice talking to this person, but also like, even just earlier in the night, I met several other people and talked to them. And so while this one was nice and good, it wasn't particularly fantastic, let's say, right? Like, I don't want to say dime a dozen. Like, I feel like that would be maybe a little bit harsh, but what I do want to say is like it's kind of common. And so like because it's kind of common, it's like it doesn't meet the bar and the threshold of like super fantastic, wow, special, like amazing. Like it's just like good. Whereas I feel like maybe what I perceived from what I felt like her reactions were was like very good. Like maybe this is something special. And I think the same is common, the same sorts of things are common with other people who go out and socialize and get good at meeting others. It's like just because you go out and meet someone and have a good conversation with them, like, it's not that special. And so the standard kind of changes and your expectations kind of change. And when you then meet someone and interact with them and see where they're at, it can also change your viewpoint of them, right? And it could be that, like, it's gonna feel like this may sound like a bit cocky, but like, maybe to her I was like super special and like, wow, rare to meet someone like this. But partially in my mind, what I feel like was also the case was just like maybe this sort of interaction isn't as common for you as it is for me. And so for you, it's more unique, and for me, it's more run of the mill. At least that was my sense of how it was happening at that point in time. And so I share all that to say, like, as I've gone out and gotten good at these things, like, it's just a shift in my expectations. And, like, the things that used to be, like, good and, like, really, be something I felt like I could hang my hat on or, like, put hope into is more of just, like, yeah, it's good, but, like, run of the mill good. And so if you feel like you're maybe getting frustrated with interactions that you feel like are good that aren't going anywhere, what I would say is, like, maybe that's a sign that you're not having enough of those interactions. Because if you were having a lot of those interactions that were good and not going anywhere, or like good but not special, then you may feel like, oh, it's no big deal if one like didn't advance where I wanted to, or if things didn't get to the point I wanted to, or if they ended up kind of falling through, because like that's just part of what happens with the volume of interactions that you have, and like the quality of interactions that you have. And so that would be like the kind of thing I'd leave you with, is just that, like, what I felt like I observed in that situation was like a little bit of frustration that things didn't turn out a certain way. And I don't think that that was necessarily a reflection of like our interaction as much as it was, I felt like it was a reflection of her hopes and expectations for the interaction. And I feel like her hopes and expectations for the interaction were based on past experiences. And I've been in that place again. Like, I get it. Also, I feel like having these experiences more recently has made me see like a different perspective. And I feel like with that different perspective, you avoid the same like frustration that you would have felt in the past, or that you may be feeling now. And so I feel like that's just another benefit of kind of being more socially adept and being able to navigate kind of conversations with strangers to a positive degree. Um, so yeah, like all in all, good. And even the sense that again, I could very well be wrong, but the more I've gone out as well, the better I find that I'm able to read people and pick up on their emotions. And so with that better ability to kind of read people and pick up on their emotions, it also makes me feel more confident when I feel like I am able, as I feel like I am able to read other people and where they're coming from and how they're feeling in different situations. So, I love you. Take care.